Bedouins of the Wind. This was fascinating because I don't know much about the Bedouin lifestyle. Of course, we always have these stereotypes, these ideas, and then when you get to be invited in that way, that just felt so authentic and accepting to the camera's gaze. Um, it was a great way of understanding that juxtaposition between their way of life and the modern way of life and how you make it work. And you stick true to your culture and the aims and what's important. And you can do that with intentionality. Beautifully shot. I really did feel like I was whisked away to this land, and I was getting to live with them, from the excitement of the camel racing to the quiet moments by the fire with the large expanse of sky above. It really captured the grandness, but also the quietness of the lifestyle. And yeah, I really appreciated the subject's very open and honest and thoughtful approach to this. So, a lovely piece.
I absolutely adored this doc. Not only is it very well made in all of its technical aspects, use of music, archival footage, voiceover, but its subject matter is so culturally specific and yet universal in theme. Because as interesting as these camel races are, truly what engaged me most in this piece was what the camel represents, how it represents culture, how it represents history, how it represents tradition and family, and how they don't, eschew modern things. They don't reject them. They allow them in, but they refuse to let the camel go slowly into the night. They make sure that that part of their tradition, of their lineage, of their ancestry is retained and taught to their children so that it can be continued on. So truly what the camel and the races mean to these people mattered even more than the results of the race.
This felt like one of the documentaries that teachers used to show in school, with a narration that's kind of soothing but also informative, where you take a bunch of notes and that teachers would never even look at, but take notes. But it's actually informative. It tells about a people that most people outside of the United Emirates would not know about. They wouldn't know about the Bedouin people. They wouldn't know that this is a people who are very much about clinging to the past while also moving forward into the future. They're kind of trying to get the best of both worlds. They're letting, like they said, they're letting their children have the iPads and the modern conveniences, but also making sure they understand the farm life and taking care of camels and stuff like that. They're trying to do both things, but they don't want to let go of that past, their culture, their history. It was a very informative documentary, very educational. It does tell about a people that are doing their best to continue preserving their heritage, which I think a lot of groups, it's so easy nowadays to just get lost in all the modern technologies and forget about the past. And it's always just so refreshing to see when people are trying their hardest to preserve what came from their ancestors while continuing to move forward, which the Bedouins seem to be trying to do. This was, like I said, very informative. It's with the camels, with their farm life, the way these people live. It's a beautifully shot documentary. The cinematography was absolutely gorgeous. The narration was just so calming. It really pulled you right into the documentary.
This film is called Bedouins of the Wind. What a thoughtful doc. What set it apart for me was the wonderful pace of the film. It really took time to describe the Bedouin people and their relationships with their camels. It never seemed rushed. It was fun to see the countdown to the big camel race, and I couldn't believe how fast they ran. The camera work was stunning, showing the desert, especially the drone shots and the sun across the sand, as well as the adorable close-up footage of the camels. I enjoyed the rousing soundtrack, which kept the film upbeat and lively. The story was told so poetically by the lovely voice of the visitor. Well done, film.